talking to you today about why clients buy with their hearts, the psychology behind branding. Thank you for this opportunity, Sandra. It's been such a fabulous lineup. So my intention is to keep you fully engaged during my session, so I'd really value your input when I ask for it. So feel free to come off mute momentarily when prompted and do join in. And, you know, we're getting close to that kind of mid-afternoon slump, so feel free to have a little shake and a shuffle if you need to. So I am Hazel. I'm the founder of Well Designed, and I'm an award-winning designer and brand strategist. I've always worked as a designer, and throughout my 25-year career, I've had the opportunity to work with some huge brands in both London and Sydney, such as Vogue, ASOS, and Revolution Beauty. So as well as being creative, I've always been fascinated by what shapes our behaviour and what makes us think a certain way or make the decisions we do. And during my education, I was lucky to study both of these areas. I now help founders to create brands that don't just look beautiful, they connect, because connection is what attracts and converts. And according to Jeff, who you may have heard of, he has a pretty big brand himself, he would agree in his famous quote, "Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room." But before we talk more about attracting clients, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Hands up or put a yes in the chat if you have ever been told or thought that your brand needs improving. And how many of you have invested in trying to make your brand look professional only to still feel unseen? So the truth that nobody tells you is that clients don't buy professionalism, they buy emotional resonance. And in the next 12 minutes or so, I'm going to show you exactly why some brands attract champagne clients while others attract, well, let's just say tea, and how you can shift from one to the other starting today. So here are two real websites, both within the wellness sector. I'd like to know which one you instantly trust more. Shout out left or right, or put L or R in the chat. So which one do you trust more? And also, which one feels more expensive? Again, left or right. So you'll see there that how quickly your brain responds. It has already made a decision about the visuals it sees in mere seconds. That's how fast your response is. Now, here's the fascinating part. The part of your brain that makes decisions, the limbic brain, is different to the part that creates language, the neocortex. So we make decisions emotionally with the limbic brain, then justify them logically much later using the neocortex. We can't even properly articulate why we've made a decision, but we'll create a plausible rational explanation after the fact to justify what we've already felt. And when it comes to these two websites, the two businesses, which one do you think charges more for their services and which one has more customers than the other? So neuroscience confirms that our brains make buying decisions in 0.05 seconds. That's faster than you can blink, before logic kicks in, before any conscious thought, before you've read a single word. Your clients are choosing you or rejecting you before they even know why. So think about it. If people are deciding that quickly, what are they actually responding to? It's not your qualifications, not your testimonials, not even your prices. They're responding to how your brand makes them feel. And colours are a really important part of that response. So I'm going to show you now just how powerful colours are when it comes to brand recognition. So close your eyes for a second, really close them because it will help you to visualise if you don't mind doing that. And I'm going to say a brand name and I want you to notice what colours appear in your mind instantly, what colours you think of. So feel free again to shout it out or put it in the chat. So McDonald's, what colours come to mind when I say the word McDonald's? And the jewellery brand, Tiffany & Co., what do you think of then?
Turquoise.
Thank you, thank you. And finally, what about Cadbury's?
Purple.
Perfect. So you see what happened there? You didn't think about it, you didn't analyse it, your brain just knew. And this is because colour creates instant emotional association that bypasses logic completely. Red and yellow suggest energy, fast, affordability. Some people have suggested that for McDonald's it represents ketchup and mustard, but this isn't actually true. So, according to psychology, the colour red is mentally stimulating and it's often associated with energy and excitement. So, this explains why so many fast food chains use red. It's also been shown to increase heart rate, which can boost your appetite, according to Reader's Digest. The colour yellow, on the other hand, is linked with happiness, and it's also the most visible colour to the human eye in daylight. So, this is why the McDonald's logo stands out so well. Tiffany blue, this creates feelings of luxury, elegance, exclusivity, and there's also a calmness to it. As a brand, they don't need to shout as loudly or be as demanding as McDonald's. And purple signifies indulgence, a treat for yourself, something premium. It's often associated with royalty, and this is because it was once rarer than gold and extremely expensive to create. And our brains still read it as a signal of power and privilege. And Cadbury's have used their now iconic purple for over 200 years. And there's a reason for that. When your brand colours are inconsistent, wishy-washy, or chosen because they're pretty rather than strategically conveying a specific feeling, your clients' brains get confused. And people who are confused, they aren't going to say yes to you. Remember that every colour triggers an instant emotion, and think about how you want your own audience to feel when they come across your brand assets, such as your website or your social media posts. So there are 3 psychological triggers that work silently in every brand that either elevate you to champagne status or keep you stuck at tea level prices. So I will break them down for you. Number 1 is colour clarity, as this creates instant authority. Champagne brands don't use a gazillion colours because they like variety. They use 1 to 3 signature colours, along with some complementary shades, and they use them consistently everywhere. Why? Well, because consistency creates trust, and trust means that premium pricing is a possibility. If your brand colours change depending on your mood or the season, your clients' brains register you as unstable, and they won't pay premium prices for instability or confusion. The second trigger is typography. Typography is the voice your brand uses. Fonts are not just letters on a page, they're the tone, confidence, and presence behind every word. A delicate curly script font whispers, "I'm gentle. I hope I'm good enough. Please choose me." Whereas a bold, modern sans serif font speaks clearly, "I'm the expert. This is intentional. You're in safe hands." But an inconsistent mix of fonts says, "Ugh, I'm unsure who or what am I doing? Who do I want to attract?" So if you want champagne clients, you need to speak like champagne. That means typography that feels emotionally aligned, confident, and consistent. Typography that takes up space without apologizing for existing. And the third trigger is spacing. This is the one that separates the amateurs from the luxury brands every single time. So have a look at these 2 examples from supermarkets. Which one do you feel is more expensive, left or right? So budget brands cram everything in, shouting, "Oi, over here, look at what we have to offer. There are so many bargains." You don't know where to look, do you? It's overwhelming. More high-end brands like Waitrose, on the right, they leave space, breathing room. They let their message land. White space signals confidence. It says, "I don't need to convince you." When you overcrowd your website or flyer or Instagram post, you create a feeling of scarcity that potential clients will notice, and you risk putting clients off as they'll be confused if your messaging isn't clear itself or presented clearly. And notice the colour palettes too. Waitrose stick clearly to red and 2 shades of green. Iceland, however, haven't used their brand colour of red as the dominant shade. Instead, they have lots of yellow, plus turquoise, plus purple and magenta, plus some green, and some other colours. It all feels rather overwhelming, doesn't it? So here are 3 psychology-led shifts you can implement right now to elevate your brand and increase your prices with confidence. So shift number 1 is colour clarity. Pick 2 to 3 main brand colours and use them everywhere. Every post, every flyer, every email. Build that instant recognition. And the bonus of this is that it will save you time and energy. Win-win. The second shift is luxurious space. Stop cramming, edit ruthlessly, let your message breathe. White space isn't wasted space, it's premium space. As Coco Chanel famously said, before you leave the house, look in the mirror and take one thing off. And the third shift is confident typography. So your fonts are speaking before you do. Decide how you want your audience to feel, and then choose typography that communicates the emotion clearly. So, just for fun, have a look at these two examples. You should see how your perception of these brands shifts when they're presented in a very different way compared to how you're used to seeing them. So, if you remember anything from this session, I really hope it's this. Your brand isn't failing because it's not professional enough. It's failing because you need better, it's not failing, sorry, because you need better credentials. It's failing because it doesn't make people feel anything. Because clients don't buy logos, they don't buy websites, they buy the feeling they get when they experience your brand. And when you master the psychology behind that feeling, everything changes. You attract better clients, you charge higher prices, you stop justifying your value because your brand does it for you. And that's the power of branding that speaks to hearts first, head second. So you now know how important emotions are when it comes to connecting with your ideal clients. Here's something you can test for yourself. When someone lands on your website, you have about 3 seconds to make them feel something before they scroll away. So have a look at your homepage or your Instagram grid. And if a stranger looked at it right now for just 3 seconds, what 3 words would describe how it feels? So, for a lifestyle brand or maybe a coach or mentor, you might want your ideal clients to think of the words warm, authentic, inviting. For a premium skincare line or a personal stylist, you might want them to think luxurious, trusted, elegant. If you're unsure, you can ask a friend. So, the words you or a friend came up with, are those the words you want people to think? Or could you make some changes? And finally, I have a gift for you. If you're unsure about the emotion that your brand is presenting right now, scan the QR code to go to my menu page and you can book an emotion insight check with me, and I will give you my professional feedback. Using the same link, you can sign up to my newsletter for weekly psychology-led branding insights and receive my free Brilliant Branding Guide. Thank you so much for listening. Now go and make your clients choose you with their hearts. Thank you, Sandra.
Hazel. Thank you. Just leave your QR code there for a moment while we have a chat. If you've got any questions for Hazel, we've got a couple of minutes. You can pop them into the chat. Lots of people saying fabulous and thought-provoking, so interesting. And I don't think very often we think about the psychology that the big brands use or even we use in our own brands. What got me was the Asda Harrods. And it's true. You made Asda look like a luxury brand. So Michelle has asked, are there any color no-nos, absolute no-nos?
Oh, so I always say to people, when you think about how you show up visually, always connect back to who you're trying to attract. So I say that I don't really work for my clients because I am actually working for my clients' clients. You don't sell to yourself. So think about who you're trying to attract into your world. Who would you love to work with or deliver a service for? And then think about what emotions will help them to connect and buy into what you're doing. So yeah, in terms of no-nos, it's really thinking about the emotional response and trying to get that right. I mean, you can ask people for their opinion on things, but if you can find somebody who is within your target audience to ask for an opinion, amazing. Don't ask your cousin just because they're coming around for a cup of tea if they are never going to be interested in what you do or what you sell.
It's really, you're attracting the end user, your potential clients at the end of the day. Sharon Kennedy has asked, if you had brand work done, but it's been around a while, how might it be refreshed economically?
Oh, well, yeah, I think for that, you would need to look at what needs changing. So, do you feel that what you're putting out at the moment is the right emotional, is the right feeling, the right connection? Is it there? I always say with my clients that what I create should last you at least 5 years, if not 10, because I don't follow specific trends. But obviously, if you are changing the focus of your business and who you want to attract, then it would have to change. So it really depends on what your thoughts were when it was first created, if that was taken into consideration, and then also if your focus has changed since then. I mean, it might be that your typography is great, but you just need to update your colors or vice versa. So obviously you can reduce the cost if you're not making as many changes, but also there's if the alignment isn't there to start with, then you're better off investing, fully rather than making little changes and then still not feeling confident and happy about using your assets.
Yeah, many, many years ago when I first started my current business, which is 10 on Friday, I was pink and like a movie husky pink and purple and all those sorts of colours.
Mm,
They were great at the time, but they weren't, I didn't like them. They didn't feel me. I didn't
mm.
feel they represented me. So how much of there is a link? I know you say you're always aiming for the customer, but if your color's really great on you and they're not the right energy for you, how do you deal with that when you're branding?
I think it's a real balance. I often say to people that I can kind of see colours in them. Hopefully, that doesn't sound too crazy. So yeah, it is a bit of both, and now there's so much talk of personal brand, and you feel like, oh, wearing your brand colours, which I know is something you do yourself, Sandra. And I often have that in mind. Because it's great if everything's aligned when it comes to the pictures of you, whatever you're doing at an event, hosting an event or whatever, for it all to feel aligned. So yeah, there is real balance there. So I guess I would what I'm saying is I would start with thinking about the emotion, the connection you want to create. And then if you're not sure, you could kind of use as a secondary option the sort of colours that you think they sort of represent you. And maybe, yeah, that can help you. So think of that as secondary, and hopefully that will help you to kind of make some decisions and get a good balance between the two.
Yeah. So Soph Newman says, what if your clients don't have a lot of disposable income? So they're clients that sort of, as she says, you want tea clients. And you don't want the branding to be a barrier for them reaching out. So do you brand yourself as a tea brand?
Oh, again, I think there's balance there. I mean, yeah, if you're looking for, tea clients and for you it's quantity rather than quality, you probably will show up a little bit differently. But remember that most people are aspirational still. And if they're paying for a service at whatever level, they still want to feel that they're getting value from you. But yeah, maybe you could make the way you show up a little bit more fun with your colours, a bit more light-hearted. Maybe you want to be more energetic and a bit bolder rather than like with Tiffany and Co, keeping it very sort of simple and letting the clients come to you. If that makes sense. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you for that. Is it any coincidence that the lettering on your last slide and your thing matches your hair?
Well, I had two color palettes and I ran them past a friend of mine. He's also a creative, so I thought it'd be good to get his opinion. He knows me really well. He's known me for 10, 15